Welcome to Diary of a Dragon Priestess. I'm your host, Yolandi, and I am very glad to be back from my trip in Slovenia. And I'm having a bit of a giggle right now as I just spent the last 20 minutes talking to you without pressing record, which is really shows you how freaking chill I am at the moment. So I'm back in England, miserable weather as per usual, standard prescription. I'm in my house today because I don't want to walk through the rain to go to my studio. I'm looking at the beautiful bluebells that is filled my garden in literally a week. When I left on Saturday last week, there were not one single one out. And I came back on Sunday evening and the garden is full of bluebells. So nature is absolute magic. So yeah, I'm here today and I've got some stuff I want to share with you guys. Um, so first, my trip to Slovenia was absolute magic. So it was one of those trips that was my brother and sister-in-law every year comes to Europe and we try and see each other because they live in South Africa. So this year they chose Slovenia, and Slovenia has been on my list for ages, especially since my husband cycled through there quite a few years back, and he was just like, Yolandi, this place is so beautiful, we have to go. And so this was my excuse to go to Slovenia. And we went for a week to Lake Bled and to Ljubljana. And as I was on the aeroplane with my son, my husband joined us a few days later. Um, I basically found out that this was called the City of Dragons. Ljubljana is the City of Dragons. And because I've been so busy, I didn't do any research. I kind of like was like, oh, I wonder what we're going to do. And then realized, oh my goodness, I'm on my way to the City of Dragons. And it did not disappoint. There were statues. There were like, I even got dragon socks. It was absolutely amazing. Um, and Lake Blade was so beautiful. Nature, it's like fairy tale place. Like if you ever have the opportunity to go there, just go there. Because it was one of those holidays where I really felt like I landed in my body. Nature was amazing, and just spending time with my family was so amazing. So much laughter, so much fun. It was just great. Anyway, so I'm back now for 4 days, and then I'm off to Morocco this weekend on Friday for another little retreat that I'm going on, which I will share more about next week. So April is definitely my month of travel. But during this time as well, I my son's writing exams, college exams in less than a month, and one of his subjects is psychology, and he needed to do some studying, and I obviously offered to just to riff with him on like the modules and the subjects, just so that he could be confident with what he's learning. And so it was really interesting because in the last few days, one of the subjects that they looked at was compliance and obedience. And I thought to myself, okay, how interesting that we're doing this. And I mean, it was really funny this morning. He was looking at the nervous system, and I'm teaching a workshop this evening on the body and the nervous system. And I was just like, okay, universe, I get you. You really want me to listen. Anyway, so back to compliance and obedience. And he shared with me some interesting studies about like where people were forced to do things that for me, I listened and I'm like, why didn't they just leave and say no? Because it wasn't like someone was holding a gun to their head and forcing them to, to do these things in the studies. And it was really interesting because the statistics was also like, about 65% of the people, the men in the one study particularly that they did, basically complied. And this study actually harmed, well, they didn't really harm, but the perception was that it would harm the other person. And yet they continued. And 100% of women participating in the study actually complied to the highest level of harm to the other person. And it blew my mind to think that as humans, when someone is in a position of authority telling us to do something, we'll actually comply, right? Like this is how we are wired. This is how we've been conditioned. This is how we do life. And it's all to be accepted, to not get into trouble, to basically belong. And we will actually do things that's really harmful to other people as well. Um, and it doesn't take a lot of people in these studies. It literally, if three people, kind of followed the rules, everyone else went with them. And it did my head in. I was literally like, oh my God. So what I then thought about for myself was like, well, where am I being compliant? Where am I being the sheep, following the masses and the ideas of how things are? And I always relate things back to my personal life and to my business life and my relationships and things. And, and I was just like, well, we as a family do life really differently to other people. We'll our Christmas consists of basically not doing anything like everyone else. It's just like little things. This is like the way that um, the way that we just communicate with each other is completely different to other people. The way that we like just connect with each other is completely different to other people. And then I looked at my business and I was just like, well, where am I compliant in my business? Where do I follow the rules of the online world and how we should be doing things? And I've made such huge efforts in the last year to try and like pull myself out of the rules, right? Like I don't market like other people. I don't show up like other people. I don't want to be in that trap of the rules that was set up by some rando somewhere that I'm now needing to follow, because that's the right way to do it. I don't agree, or I don't play with the algorithm and, posting every day and being, like in all of those, because it doesn't make sense to my brain. And so when I listened to my son talking about these studies, I was just like, oh my God, this is like ridiculous. So where in your life are you currently in the space where you are blindly following rules and ideas and traditions and all of these things without actually questioning it? Like, why are we doing this? Why do we do this? And, some traditions have got real value, and some things that we're learning in spaces have got real value. But there's also spaces where things that we've been told and taught, there isn't real value in it. And when you are in that space where your body starts to feel ick about doing stuff, right? Like if there's a part of you that's going, this doesn't feel right to me, or I don't like this, you need to start to listen, because we are in this process, in this transition period now where we're moving from this collective um, obedience, from this collective institutionalization that we've been part of, into a space where we are becoming individuals with our own authority, listening to our own guidance, listening to our bodies, listening to the land, and the stars and like all of nature. And we're basically moving back into that space of sovereignty, like pure sovereignty, right? Like what I call soul authority. And this is the time where we really need to start to deconstruct the the buildings, the blocks, the foundations that we have been given by the structures around us. Okay, so it's really time to start to think, well, where does this not feel right for my soul? Like where's this like really dampening my spirit, right? Like that spark for life, that joy, that beauty, that like, oh my God, this is amazing to be alive. Where's that being dampened? Where are you complying to let that die out? Okay, because it's intense and it's it's time to change. Now, the one thing also that my son shared with me was that part of the studies that they did was they looked at what would happen if in a group of people, a few people said, no, we're not going to follow the rules, right? Like I keep putting these in inverted commas. So, and it was quite amazing because the minute that one or two people would say, I'm not doing that, other people would start to go, oh, and then they'd turn and they'd actually go with the people who wouldn't follow those instructions that wasn't like proper savory instructions, right? So it was interesting to see that in the studies, like you only need a couple of people, you only need one or two people to actually start to change and to make a different decision, and then others will follow. Okay, it only takes one or two people to make a right decision, to make a hard decision, to make a true decision, for other people to actually start to go, oh, maybe I should do that too. Okay, and that's how I look at us, right? Like, if you're listening today, like, are you one of those people who are willing to go, I'm not going to do it this way? And then be able to inspire other people to say, also, I'm not going to do it this way, right? In your communities, in your environment, in your families, like, you could be the person who steps out of old ways of doing stuff, structures that doesn't serve you or your families or your communities anymore. One person making a change and others will follow. And that gave me so much hope, because I was like, oh my God, we're not doomed. Everyone is not sheep. We don't have to be in a world where we will hurt and harm each other and ourselves to comply and to listen to authorities, okay, and to be in these structures that were set up that wasn't really ever for us. Okay, so many of the structures that we adhere to does not serve us. Okay, and I'm for me, it actually, like, I even went back to like the smallest things, right? Like, go back to the smallest things in your life. Start there. This isn't about like you need to now go and like overthrow your government, unless that's something you want to do. But like, when we start with change, when I start here in my own house, when I start here in my environment, in my community, and I start to do things that's good for me, that's good for my environment, that's good for my land, right? Like, I start to do that. That then creates change, and that creates change, and that creates, like, it's a ripple effect, right? And so, because it's always like people are like, I don't even know where to start. Well, compliance and obedience is a choice. That's all it is. It is a choice. When I looked at those studies that my son shared, like, there was no one there holding a gun to anyone's head. There was no one there forcing. All they had on was a fucking lab coat telling someone to do something at a university. And I'm like, if that's all it takes for you to comply, that is freaking scary, because no one forced them. No one told those people that you would come to harm if you refused and walked out of this experiment. Okay, so I mean, this is like important stuff. And you have a choice. All of these things are a choice. And that's the beauty of life, right? And some choices might need you to go a bit of a longer route to make an impact or to make a change, but it's all part of the process. It's all part of the journey. And that's what we're all doing. So really today it is about like, where are you being compliant, where you shouldn't be. And this is really about starting to trust your instincts. Okay, this is about starting to trust your body. When there's a part of you that's going, oh my God, this does not light me up, this does not feel right for me, this is not, in alignment with my values or how I want to live life or be, then you need to question it, because why the fuck are you doing it? Okay, make a change. You are allowed to change things. This is the whole point of being a sovereign human being. And that's why I keep banging on about, like, you need to listen to your body, because your body is going to be your biggest guide in terms of your sovereignty. And it also made me think about this course with the dragons, the dragon alchemy course, and how they want to work through every single fear, because their message constantly is every single fear is a choice, Yolandi. Like, you guys have to understand that, your fear of like inadequacy or failure or whatever, it's all a choice. So when you start to see it for what it is, what you've been given by the institutions and the structures, and if you can take yourself out of that, you return to your sovereignty. So so this course is about returning to sovereignty. So I keep coming back to it, but it is such an important thing for me, because it's like, we have to start trusting ourselves and listening to ourselves. This is the time now. No one's going to do this for you. You have to decide. You have to decide. So yeah, that's me on my horse about this, right? Um, Okay, so that's what I wanted to speak about today, was just like compliance and obedience. So take a moment and just sit down and just take the parts of your life, right? In your business, in your family structure, in your relationships, like, in your life, where are you being obedient and compliant, where you shouldn't be? And that's as simple as that. And what do you need to do to change it? because all it ever is a choice. Because at the end of the day, we were created sovereign. We are here to be sovereign. We are here to make choices that is in the highest good for us. And then also, when it is for us, it becomes for our environment, it becomes for our people as well. Okay. And for our land, for God's sake. So, anyway, okay. So that's what I wanted to say about that. Now that I've actually recorded it. Hallelujah. So then there's a few little announcements that I need to make. And first things first, Dragon Alchemy course. We're going to start in the beginning of May. I'm opening the doors on the 28th of April. But if you want to sign up for the wait list, then you'll get the first emails and you'll be able to go and register yourself to join us. It's going to be like 3 months. It's going to be every 2 weeks. We're going to be working through one fear center. So there's 7 fear centers. And then there will also be a beautiful 8-8 Lionsgate activation that I will be giving you guys. So that's basically when we finish. And then the second thing is Project Earthwork is going to London. So we are super excited. So in May, the 21st of May, it's a Friday, we will be opening the main stage of the Mind, Body, Spirit Festival that's being held at the Olympia in London. So this is a big deal for us because our mission with the project's always been to educate people about the land, to really bring focus to our connection with the land. And when we are doing, you know, big things like a massive festival, and how are we honoring the land that we're working on, right? Like, how do we get to work with Gaia in conjunction with the stuff that we're bringing and the magic that we're bringing to other people? So it's such an honor for us to be able to open this. So myself, Charlie, and Karen will be there on the Friday morning. So come and join us if you're around. We would absolutely love to see you there. And then just the last thing is that in June, the weekend of the 26th, we're going to be in Glastonbury. So this is going to be our last one in Glastonbury for a while. And we are running a 2-day workshop there where you get to work with the land, where you get to learn from us. It's called From Soil to Starfire. It's going to be a biggie. Yeah, it's all about like our connection with the land, our connection with ourselves, and then some star magic in there as well. So there's a lot happening. And we've only got a few places left. So if you want to join us, please make sure that you do. It's so worth it. And I'm just so grateful because the majority of people who went last year is coming back this year. So it's just like that speaks volumes to me. So come and join us, come and be part of our community, and come and hang out with us for a weekend and just have fun and learn and connect. And it's magic. Yeah, so those are the things. And I'll post the links also just in the descriptions. So, and that's it. So have a magical week. I will speak to you when I'm back from Morocco. I'm sure with some more insights and information. And I'm just sending you all the love, and be gentle with yourself. We're going through big, big changes at the moment. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Ariabase, la Shiabrasa.